welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name is Imogen. In today's video, I'm teaching you how to make the most of spreadsheets for productivity. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do that, give this video a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and let's get started. So I love spreadsheets, and I can do a whole series on spreadsheets if you like, because I think they're such a useful tool for productivity. But I wanted to start off with this video to give you some kind of like ground rules almost, or just like basic ideas to get you started on using spreadsheets for productivity. Because like I said, they're an immensely powerful tool. So, number one is to make a spreadsheet for time tracking. Now, what do I mean by time tracking? Time tracking is literally just kind of a diary, a journal, if you will, of how you spend your time or how you want to spend your time, preferably both. So when I say make a spreadsheet for time tracking, what I would do is I would list out my ideal schedule and how many hours I would spend on each project, and then I would have a spreadsheet where I can track by day or by project or by both how much time I'm actually spending. So what you can do using this spreadsheet time tracker is you can obviously fit it to your projects, fit it to your needs, and you can track by day, week, month, however often you want to track. And you can see if you're actually spending the time that you want to spend on the projects that you want to spend it on. And the reason this is useful, I mean, obviously it's useful because it gives you an overview of what you're actually doing, but the reason this is useful is it allows you to kind of understand where your time's going and rectify it if it needs rectifying. And if not, then you should just feel proud of yourself. But yeah, making a spreadsheet for time tracking is really useful. And I have one for like several projects just to make sure that I'm actually putting in the hours that I need to put in and just making sure that everything gets the attention that I've planned for it to get. Because often, you know, we make a plan and then we don't always stick to the plan. So I think having a spreadsheet for time tracking is a really good way to hold yourself accountable. So that's way number one, to use spreadsheets. Let's talk about way number two. Okay, you can make a spreadsheet for every big goal. Now, I love this, okay? Whenever I set a really big goal, I will have some kind of a spreadsheet for it. So a really good example for this was me trying to eat healthier in 2024. So I had like a little food diary and I would write down like what I ate. Now, obviously, this comes with a word of caution. Like if you have a history of disordered eating, do not do this, because this can be like a trigger for some people. So I just want to put that disclaimer in there. But if you are generally in a sort of mentally healthy place, it can be really useful to kind of see, not in a restrictive way, but just in a sort of, oh, you know, I got this, I got that, and maybe I should get more protein, maybe I should get more fiber, oh, I haven't had like X vegetable for a while, let's do that. So it was kind of helpful for me to get a sense of like where I was in terms of like hitting my healthy eating targets and ways that I could make myself healthier and make myself improve. So you can do that for everything. I just happened to do it like by day, by week, and then I could group like my entries and see what I was doing. But you can do that for any task. It doesn't necessarily have to be like health related. So making a spreadsheet for every big goal is really cool because you can also have multiple tabs if you need to split down the bigger goal into smaller like workstations almost. So you can have a huge like a spreadsheet overall and then individual tabs for like smaller aspects of the big goal that you're working on. So making a spreadsheet for every big goal, I highly, highly recommend. All right, number three. Make charts on spreadsheets to track your progress. This is more of a sort of formatting thing within each of your spreadsheets, but something that I find very useful because in terms of productivity, I can be quite visual. I like to make a chart to see, you know, have things gone up, have things gone down. I have a chart for my YouTube like statistics. So I have a chart for like subscribers. I have a chart for like watch hours and views and so on and so forth. And I've got all of that data in like a data table. And what that allows me to do is see how, and obviously all of this data is available in YouTube Studio, but it allows me to kind of have like all of the same years in one place that I can read, if that makes sense, without having to like click through a menu. So anyway, I have that to monitor my YouTube channel growth and see, oh, you know, it went up this month, it went down this month, why might that be? And to try and improve the channel for you guys. So making charts on spreadsheets can be a really good way to like quickly get an overview of the data. I know this sounds super basic, but it like immensely helps. I highly recommend it. All right, number four. This one is kind of about collaboration. So if you are using a spreadsheet, and probably this is very likely to be Excel, there is a share function. The share function is very useful if you have an accountability buddy, okay? So something that I sometimes do on my spreadsheets, if I'm working on a task like with one of my friends or something, is I'll just share it so we can like work on it together. And I know that they can see all of my edits and I can see all of their edits, so we hold each other accountable. And I know that, you know, if I haven't done enough work on it, they're going to be able to see that I haven't. So that kind of gives me a little kick up the butt to do more work, okay? So using the share function can be really useful for accountability. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is to categorize. I mean, I've kind of talked about this earlier in the video, but I do want to go into it a little bit more in more depth. And that is to categorize different aspects of the same goal with sheets within the same worksheet. So I talked about when you have a big goal and you split it down into smaller goals and you have them on tabs. Okay, so you can do that, and it is really helpful because it allows you to take one at a time. Now, what do I mean by taking one at a time? Obviously, that sounds self-explanatory, but something I find when I have too much of one goal on the same screen, on the same worksheet, is it gets overwhelming for me. So that kind of feels demotivating because I'm like, oh no, there's so much, I don't know where to start, and it's really confusing. So when you break down your goals and you separate them out into spreadsheet tabs, you can click between them and you can have just one aspect fill up your whole screen, and that helps you. Firstly, it helps you to focus because you're not having all of the other aspects of the goal that you could be working on distracting you. Secondly, it helps you to focus and avoid distractions. Secondly, it helps you to sort of be a little bit single-minded, if that makes sense. So obviously, yes, you can think about all of the aspects of the goal, but once you've planned them, and I've talked about this in other videos, you just need to trust the process, okay? Once you've planned the process, you need to trust yourself to execute the process correctly, okay? Because if you're always going back and changing things and, you know, confusing yourself, it's just not good, okay? So that is the other thing that the sort of dividers will help you with, is not getting confused, because I'm not the smartest person in the world, right? Okay, maybe there is someone who can have everything on one spreadsheet and not be confused. That person is not me, and I suspect that although I'm sure many of you are smarter than me, some of you can relate to this. So yeah, if you categorize different aspects of the same goal, and this doesn't necessarily have to be steps towards a goal, although it could also be, you know, just different parts of something. Like, it could be different categories of something that you're working towards. So for example, in my healthy eating journey, I wanted to, I had some recipes, I had a shopping list, I had, you know, like macros, so carbs, protein, etc. So I was making sure that I was getting a balanced diet. So all of those, they're not necessarily they could be steps towards the goal, but they're kind of different categories. Does that make sense? So I had those all on separate tabs, and then I'd have a graph tab where I had graphs tracking my progress. Okay, so it isn't necessarily just a steps thing, it can also be an aspects or categories thing. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Let me know in the comments what you think. But yeah, that's how to make the most of spreadsheets for productivity. If you want another follow-up video which goes into more specific detail about functions and stuff, I can do that. So yeah, let me know in the comments, and yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, follow me on Instagram if you aren't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay.